O'Reilly! You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome to Scarlets Fever, the home of Saucepan Central and Westerer is Besterer.
Hello and welcome to this week's Scarlets Fever with me, Lee G, and I am joined as always by the amazing crime-fighting duo of Big M and Catboy. Good evening, gents.
Evening.
See, I quite like that as an introduction. The amazing crime-fighting duo. If we made a film, Big M and Catboy, I think people would go and watch it.
But the thing is, I am obviously going to be, the lead, Big M, and Catboy is the name of a sidekick.
Catboy is a sidekick's name. I won't argue that. I keep forgetting to change my name on Zoom when I go on other podcasts. So I was on Kaylin's podcast yesterday, and I'm down at Catboy. To be fair, there was 4 other guys on the podcast with me. Not one of them went, "What's with the Catboy thing?" No one said nothing.
It's your name. Who does not exist anymore? Don't you realize this?
Yeah. The thing is, I've forgotten who made the original comment now. It's been so long.
I won't name him. It's a well-known Welsh rugby Twitter personality.
Oh, was it him? Was it?
It's not the main one, but it's one of. It's a Cardiff fan.
It's a Bravo, I think.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's not him. No, it's a different one. No, a different one.
Okay. So we missed a catch-up last week because Hugh was off sunning himself and I was doing university.
Don't blame Hugh for this. This was all you wanted to do your university stuff.
I just said Hugh was away sunning himself and I was doing my university work.
But it was nothing to do with Hugh. We were happy to do it, just me and you, but you sat out.
Yeah, because I was a mile behind because I do more podcasts.
Hugh alone. It was a good boy. He booked his holiday in advance.
So let's talk about Hugh's holiday. Did you remember your shiny, sparkly Speedos for your holiday, Hugh?
I did remember them, but I didn't take them. So here's what happened. So we've been looking at the weather forecast for a couple of weeks. I say we, the girlfriend had, been looking at the weather forecast and, it's going to be horrible, it's going to be raining. And it was horrible and raining for the first couple of days. So she said, "No, I'm not taking my swimming costume." And I was saying to her, just take it just in case. It's not like it takes up a load of weight in the suitcase. Ryanair robbing bastards. 20 kilos if you go over it will take your house. Anyway, so I said take it, and she went, no. Fine, didn't take it. I didn't take mine. Day 3, bit of sunlight comes out. Bit of sea, looks a bit enticing. First thing, I wish I'd brought my swimming cozy with me. Right. This is sometimes in life, lads, there's just nothing you can say. But apart from that, it was a really nice holiday. Went with mum and dad, had a great time. Had lots of food, had lots of beer, and just generally an enjoyable way to spend a week.
So, what was your favourite beer? There must have been a favourite beer.
I just went and sat down and said Cerveza Grande, por favor. And whatever they brought me.
They're going, there's one of those British dickheads. Give him the slops from the basement. You know, that stuff that we've been throwing out for 3 months. Yeah.
It was all lager. It wasn't beer. It was lager. My granddad wouldn't refer to it as beer. He'd call it lager.
So let me just make something clear. You are 30, almost 30?
28.
Almost 30. And you're still going on holiday with your parents?
No, this is the first time we've done it in years. So they did it. So they go to Marbella most years. And they said, we're going for 2 weeks this week. So I've gone for the first week and come back. And then my brother's gone for the second week.
Okay. Can I clarify something as well? Because I get confused with this. When you say you went with a girlfriend, is that Thistle?
No.
So Thistle didn't go.
Thistle didn't go on holiday, no.
And there's a real girlfriend.
There's a real girlfriend.
Thistle isn't real. Thistle is stuffed.
Thistle was robotic. Come on, keep up.
Oh God! Right, Martin, what have you been up to, mate?
Because considering it's been 2 weeks now, I've got 2 weeks worth of reporting to do. So week before last, I made the long trip to Newcastle Emlyn to watch the game against Bonamine. And obviously, we spoke on the pod with Newcastle Emlyn a couple of months ago. They're absolutely excellent. If you haven't heard it, listen to it. It's an amazing club and everything they do. And I'll be honest, it was a brilliant day. It was a great experience. It was a day for their player sponsors. So they had full hospitality out. So nice pork dinner. I can't remember what the dessert was, but it was like a sort of cake and apple pie in one with cream. And it was bloody lovely. And I really wish I took a photo of it. I completely forgot. I took a photo of the dinner because I thought, maybe I'll document all this. The dessert came. I looked at it going, I'm having that. And I completely forgot to take a pretty picture. But in all honesty, I've done hospitality a few times, and Emlyn's food trounces it. Fair play. It was really nice. It's if anyone's ever been there, it's a fairly new clubhouse, so it's a nice big bar room area. So I think there was like 10 tables with 10 seats on each. Easily host a wedding. They do host weddings, I should say. So it was a really, really good place, and I enjoyed the food for one. I don't always get to say that when I go to rugby matches. I've been to some places and they give you spam burgers, and you're like, what is this? Christ. So no, obviously Newcastle, Bonamine. Newcastle was sitting, I think, in 7th at the time. Bonamine were in 4th. Emlyn hadn't touched anyone in the top 4 all season. They'd lost every single game they come out against it. And fair play, Bonamine came up and they were a really forward-orientated, heavy pack. They dominated the scrum. They were really heavy in the forwards and they caused a lot of damage there. Newcastle Emlyn, they can run from everywhere. I've got the full recording of the game, courtesy of the club and VO. Thank you for that very much. Trying to put a highlights video together, but it's me, so it might be a bit dodgy. But no, their attacking play was brilliant. I mean, they scored a try from their own half. It's really good moves off first phase ball. They scrum and they line out, so you couldn't argue for much more than that from them. They won out in the end, 21-18. It was really tight all the way through. I think it was like 5-0 Bonamine, 7-5, 10-7, 14-7. It just went like that all game. So there was never more than a score in it. So, and by the end of the game, obviously Newcastle came up trumps 21-18. And that's put them on course to get into that top half, get a promotion spot, because there's 5 on offer this year going up to the new style Premiership. So it's really good for the club. And then afterwards, had a couple of bevies and Purple Moose Brewery. They're from Snowdonia region, and it was a really nice golden pale ale. It's really sweet, really fruity. I quite liked it. And they had their own eco cups as well. I wish it's in the car. It's literally about 30 meters from where I'm sitting, but I'm too lazy to go and grab it. But no, it's got like Castel, what is it? Castel Newydd, Emlyn, Dalwyba, which are the ground. Gwynna Goch, all the colours. It's just a really nice cup, and it was only £2. So I was happy with that. So I've got that as a memento for the day. But all in all, it was a great experience. I haven't been to a community game in a long while, which is to my own detriment. I wish I could go a lot more. Unfortunately, I get stuck with the kids, and after half a match, they're whinging. But what I can say about Newcastle Emlyn, as you walk into the ground just before you get into the pitch, they got swings. So you could literally, the kids can go on the swings, you can watch the match, and you can see them out of the corner of your eye. So that is a brilliant idea. Get a playground by one of the bloody try areas of your pitch. I think that's fantastic.
So did you use sat-nav to find the pitch?
No, I've been there plenty of times before. I know my way. I did have to revert. I didn't use the sat nav as in I put in the postcode, blah blah blah. But part of the 484 was closed, so I literally got to Carmarthen and I was like, okay, Christ. So I had to like scroll through the map with where I go from here. Because the diversion wanted to take me through Llandyssil, and I'm not traveling that far. I've budgeted my mileage for this, I can't go too far out of my way. But no, it's fairly easy ground to get to once you've been there once, it's simple enough.
Have you heard the Rod Gilbert sketch of the difference between Llandyssil and Llandyssil?
Llandyssil.
Yeah, it is absolute classic. So what happens now if Newcastle Emlyn play Bury Port or Llangerich or Lleslie Wanderers? Where does the heart lie now?
Well, I love Newcastle Emlyn. Everything about the club, it makes you feel part of it. And honest to God, I can't emphasise that more. Obviously, came in as a neutral first time I spoke to him. It's a really nice club, really sounding. But every single person, it's a fully bilingual club. I mean, it is mostly Welsh than anything else. I'm not even close to fluent. I wouldn't even say I'm semi-fluent. But, they accompany absolutely everybody. Like, my wife doesn't like pork. When she went up for food, they're like, oh, we can go something else, because it was pork bits and a gravy. I can go do you up a fresh gravy if you want. And they really didn't need to do things like that, but they were offering off their own back. Everything about the club is inclusive, and it makes you feel like part of it. So honest to God, half of my heart is now in Newcastle Emlyn. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's the way. And that's what we all need to do, isn't it? We all need to spend a couple of days at the lower end of the rugby pyramid, if you like, and just remember what it's like to be in those grounds when it's pissing down and it's 4 degrees below.
It was good weather. I was happy with that. There was a light drizzle at points, but nothing too bad.
I'm pleased for you, mate. I'm pleased for you because, as I said, they are a good club and they are going places. So, and they've obviously got something right because they do produce players that go to the top end. So, yes. Well done, then. So my high points is yesterday. Now you might not believe this, but yesterday I mowed the lawn for the first time this year. I know, it took a while. I literally had to trim it first so that I could get the grass low enough to then put the lawnmower over it, and it looks like
a while.
Oh, it looks awful, but it looks awful with like 2 inches of grass instead of 2 foot of it now. So
any brambles in there?
No, do you know, I was like, I get to the edges and I'm going, oh, well, my flowers are growing again and this is growing again and I haven't killed that, and no, this is all right. I found onions growing in my veg patch that I hadn't picked out from last year. And
what onions are they? They brown onions, red onions?
They're brown now because they're rotten in the ground, but they were there, like, they were growing. So yeah, so I managed to mow.
Is that those green shoots that you're always on about?
Maybe that's what it is, mate. There's a subconscious thing coming in from the garden. There's green shoots growing. So there was that, and the reason that I wasn't here last week was I was busting my arse to do this. I meant to have this survey out for the end of my open uni course. So an open uni course is 6 years, yeah, and you do all the work at home. So you've been doing the day job and then stuff and that, and then this as well and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to do my survey. So I've got to do a survey, and then you've got to analyze results and publish a report and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And I wanted to do my survey on something to do with rugby, and it was battered around, and it looks nothing like what it started, but it's to do with ex-rugby players and their connections, their social connections within the game. So I'm going to put that out on our social media, and I would really, really appreciate it if you could take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I tested it on you, Mart. How long?
5 minutes, if that.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. There you go. So, it doesn't take long at all. It's all anonymous. So I sent I sent you one out, Mark, with about 5 or 6 others, and they all came back in. I've got no idea whose is whose and all that kind of stuff. And there's nothing on there which is particularly revealing. Although one of them did come in with a strange pair of underpants photo, Mark. I think that, yeah. So
was it my special on that ass branded boxers? Product placement.
I'm going to put people off doing my survey now. No, can you all? The link will be there. I'd really appreciate it if people would do that survey because it just makes my life so much easier. I don't have to pester people about it next weekend. So
and do it photo optional.
Yeah. To be fair, and this was kind of the point of my survey that, I've got loads of friends on social media who are ex-players that, I don't speak to, like I speak to you guys every week, but I don't speak to them. I might speak to them once or twice a year. We might be commenting on the same rugby post or something like that, and you go, "Oh, how are things?" and all that. And when you make that rugby connection, it does kind of stick with you. It does kind of. I was one of the bits I do in work is I arrange grants for people, and one of the guys, this name popped up, and I went, "I'm sure I played with him when I was 15. Yeah, I'm nearly 50, so this is 35 years ago. Yeah, we played under 15s. We were the first and only Pembrokeshire team to win a national cup. Thank you." So he played second row, and I was messaging him and all this kind of stuff. I go, so we arranged a video call, and I went, "Did we play together? Did you're Matthew?" And he's like, "I was thinking the same thing. You're Lee. We used to play together when we were 15, didn't we?" Yeah. So 35 years without talking to each other, bang, straight back into it, reminiscing about the game, what we've been doing, and all of this kind of stuff. Get to the end of the call, and I'd completely forgotten to ask him all the questions I need to ask him about the grants. So I have to go back and do that again. But that's the kind of connections that you develop, your social connections that you develop in rugby that I wanted to get to the bottom of. So if that's what it is, the link will be there. I'd be really grateful if you could do it. Right. So everybody else can go and take a snooze now. Martin, you have the floor, my friend. Let's do community game. All yours.
Okay. So obviously it's been 2 weeks. There wasn't much rugby at all last week, so it's going to be really quick, just like a normal one. There was a bit of Scarlets Academy games and a lot of age grade Wales games, as I'm sure a lot of people would know. So if we go back to 2 weeks to when we were supposed to do this last week, so Llandovery won away in Pontypool 48-26. We had Cian Abraham and Jack Davis on the field. Cian Abraham had 3 tries and set in a game for that one. Jack Davis came away with a try as well. Carmarthen Quins fully loaded with Scarlets boys. So the normal ones. So they had Lewis Morgan, Lucas Ataro, Iestyn Gwilliam, Sam O'Connor, and Gabriel McDonald. But they also had Carwyn Tuapolotu, Archie Hughes, and Charlie Titcomb. And they somehow still didn't manage to win against a team that is literally right by them in the table. They lost 20-15 at home to RGC, which for me, I don't understand. They absolutely smashed Aberafan the week before, and they chopped and changed all their squad, to accommodate, the extra 3-4 players from the Scarlets, and everything just went out the window. So I'm really disappointed from in that. I thought they could have been on a nice run.
I don't understand why Carwyn's turning out for Quins at the moment.
Well, quite frankly, he needs to play rugby, and we're playing for feet at a date. So unless he starts showing something, I can't see him getting back into this team. I'll be honest, I can't even remember the last time I saw him sign a contract. I think it was like back in 2020 or maybe 2021. So I'm pretty sure his contract is coming up. And the way things have gone, we are slowly hearing announcements. His name is expected to be in there, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't as well. He's, what is he, 6 foot odd, 125 kilo, and he just doesn't seem to use it. He had Carla Maffoni for years as a mentor, and it just hasn't appeared to do anything. There's just not that mindset in him, because playing rugby is a mindset. You don't have to be 6'6", 120 plus kilos to be a good, big, aggressive carrier. You can be 6 foot and bloody 90 kilos and still make a massive dent in people. It's just something that doesn't seem to be there. That sort of aggression is just not there with him, which is disappointing because he has all the raw attributes. So leave off on him. Other players that were on show 2 weeks ago was Harry Fuller for Newcastle Emlyn against Bonamine, that game I just described. Ollie Close for Ammanford. Crimmick had Alfie Evans-Fetchy and Iestyn Wood when they played Dunvant. And there was also a debut for one of our under-18s. He played for his local club, Yori Badam. So this is directly from Tenby, Division 2. They a little post. Yori Badam made his first 15 debut yesterday. Another player to have played right through our club pathway. It was a pretty decent debut, to be fair. A try with his first touch and a first-half hat-trick. So I think he can be pretty pleased with how that went. And like we saw at the beginning of the Scarlets 18 season, more or less, I think it was his first touch of the ball. He went over as well. So a bit of a theme going by year for Yori. So let's just watch his first game everywhere he goes. So just straight into other results from week then. Championship West, Dunvan 36, Crymych 13, Llangennech won 67-14 at home to Trebanos. Ammanford lost 23-17 away to Meister Quins. The aforementioned game, Newcastle Emlyn won 21-18 at home to Bonamine. Narberth won 67-7 away to Estalavera. Division 1 West, Buryport won 27-10 at home to Ponta de Lais. Llanelli Wanderers won 59-21 away to Felinfol. Kidwelly beat One Island 19-12 at home. Whitland went down 10-26 at home to Gosainan. And then Hendy beat Aberystwyth in a massive 46-43 game. One West Central, Brynaman went down 31-20 away to Western Ginlais. Division 2 West, Tenby won 59-7 away to Armagh United. Carmarthen Athletic beat Fishguard 15-12 at home. Milford Avon won 17-13 at home to the Croix. Lampeter won 31-22 away in Nantgaredig. Mumbles won 34-30 in Pontevedra. Very unlucky for there. Pontevedra been much improved this season. I've constantly said it. And in the big game for this division, first v second, as it was, St. Clair's 46, Lacha 21. And some of the posts I've had off Lacha is quite, well, I wouldn't be too proud of it. It's direct from the club, and they're like, our discipline let us down. I mean, 46 points, that's not just discipline. So come on, just man up. You were on the better side. 3 West A, Hartford West won 47-5 at home to Pembroke. Neyland and St. David's played out a 21-all draw in Neyland. 3 West B, Trimsaran won 64-15 away to Binya. Kev Nathan won 24-20 at home to Llangadog. Tumble won 29-15 in Furness. Llandailo won 25-12 against New Dock Stars. Sorry, who. Betos won 33-14 away to Tregaron. In Division 3 Cup, in the quarter-final stage, Larne went down 17-25 at home to Brincathen. So unlucky for me, I don't have an excuse to go to the first finals day now on the April the 6th. Gutted by there, and gutted for you, Larne, obviously. Division 5 West Central, Pantavannan lost 8-38 at home to Comturk. Pennebank went down 41-27 at home to Ricos. Into the youth rugby, so it's only a few fixtures. I'm really sorry, I'm going as fast as I can. Youth Cup semi-final, Tonmawr beat Gosainan 13-0, so the youth final will now be Llandailo against Tonmawr. Youth played semi-finals, Bargoed won 41-27 against Llandaff, and Carmarthen Athletic beat their local rivals Carmarthen Quins 24-17. So the youth plate final is Carmarthen Athletic against Bargoed. Down into the bowl semi-finals now, and Gowerton beat Cwmbran 24-20. So the bowl final is between Cardiff Quins and Gowerton. So quickly flash ahead to last weekend, only a handful of games. Carmarthen Quins lost 18-24 at home to Cardiff. So, Cardiff are in the promotion spots. They're currently in 4th, so a massive jump up from RGC to Cardiff. And they had Sam O'Connor, Lewis Morgan, Gabriel McDonald, Iestyn Gwilliam, Iestyn Wood, and Lucas Otaro. So you got rid of the 3 main Scarlets boys, and their performance improved. So what does that say about the Scarlets boys we're giving out at the minute? It's really disappointing from that perspective. Harry Fuller was on show for Newcastle Emlyn. Again, they went down 28-0 away to Llangennech. But remember, Llangennech are, they're top dogs. They're top 3 in this division, so that's nothing to be too concerned about. Nothing in 1 West or 1 West Central. Nothing in 2 West. 3 West A, Larne won 66-12 away to Pembroke. And I believe that is absolutely all my results for these last 2 weeks. So I will run down the fixtures for this coming Saturday as fast as I can, as always.
I thought we were done, Hugh. I thought I'd put the kettle on I've made a cup of tea. The turkey's in the oven. The sprouts are on. I thought we were done, but apparently we got fixtures. Go on, Mark. Carry on.
I'm glad you broke it up a bit. It gives people a breather. It gives me a breather more than anything.
I was going to say you've got to breathe at some point, mate.
Like, I'm looking at my screen of fixtures and results, so I can't see, and I've turned over now to look at you, and I can see how red I've gone. So this must be really entertaining for people on YouTube. So really quick, in the Premiership, we got Carmarthen Quins are playing away in Merthyr. Down in Championship West, Ammanford at home to Tartar Steel, Llangennech travel to Bonamine, Big Derby, Crymych at home to Newcastle Emlyn. Down in One West, Aberystwyth at home to Whitland, Kidwelly travel to Gysainen, Lechley Wanderers hosting Hendy, Felinvol travel to Pencloud, and Barryport travel to One Island. One West Central, Brynaman are at home to Kenfig Hill. Two West, we got Carmarthen Athletic at home to Loughor, Fishguard at home to Nancaredig, Milford travel to Lampeter, St Clair's travel to Mumbles, Tenby at home to Pontyberem, and to Christ at home to Arm United. 3 West A, we got Larne at home to Pembroke, so a reverse of last week's fixture where Larne won 66-12. Langham at home to Pembroke Dock Harlequins, Neyland at home to Haverford West, and Cardigan travelling to St David's. 3 West B, we got Betos at home to Kevnathan, Llangardag at home to Furness, Llandibby travel to New Dock Stars. Maybe New Dock can get a win just to make you happy, Hugh. Trimsarn at home to Tregaron, Llandailo travel to Tumble. 5 West Central, there are no games for whatever reason. Cup rugby now, so we have got Championship Cup semi-finals. So Narberth are at home to Astrodronda. They're playing.
It's been the Championship Cup semi-finals for 6 months, Martin. When to the semi-finals for the Championship Cup? Stop.
Go on, Mark.
The other Championship Cup semi-final is Bargoed against Bedwas. That's in Newbridge. The Division 2 Cup semi-finals are Aberavon Quins playing Porthcawl and Tornmawr, Penarth playing Llanharin and Bedwas. Division 3 Cup semi-finals where Larne should rightfully be, but they're not. Brickethin are playing Blaenau and Penarth. Fairwater are playing Cardiff Quins, but I haven't got the venue for that one. And that is it, my friends. See, the fixtures were not so bad.
I was just looking at some of the fixtures, and like 3 West, I've got like 3 fixtures. Some sides have got like 2 or 3 games left.
Well, look at Larne. They've got a shit ton of games left, you know.
Yeah, they've got like 4 or 5 games.
It is kind of lucky that they didn't actually win that knockout game in the cup. Otherwise, they would have been, you know, even more screwed. You know.
Yeah.
So we can get on to more professional game now. So
okay.
The Scarlets Academy was back in action.
Oh fuck! He's not done. I thought he was done.
I'm done for the community. I'm done for the community.
Oh my God, I thought I was about to start talking about Wales, Italy, and he started again. It's like somebody's...
You can chime in again now, man. Don't worry.
He's pressed the reset button. Go on, Mark. Carry on.
So 6 teams East and 6 teams West have combined. They played Ospreys last Wednesday and lost 28-26. Haven't had much info on that, on try scorers, etc. But this Sunday, they played up in Gwendraeth against RGC, and they won 42-14. And if you go on the Scarlets Academy Twitter, they've got a full rundown of all their try scorers and everything. The Wales under-18s have had a couple of fixtures. I know they beat Scotland in a double-header with a development 15 as well quite recently. This week, they beat Ireland 27-19. We had a few boys on show. We had Jack Pritchard, Sam Williams, Dom Kossuth, Dejan Gwyn, happy, yeah. Carwyn Jones, Alex Ridgway, and Steph Jack Jones. The women's under-18s have also had a few fixtures. I think it was England, Scotland, and Ireland. They've won all 3. You might have to double-check the England one. I can't find much information on any of them. I know they've beaten Scotland 48-10, so I don't know how many of our Scarlets are involved in that. Into the under-20s, we all saw how, that game went against France. We just got overpowered. We had Josh Morse, Harry Thomas, Luca Giannini, Max Page in the starting 15. We had then Will Plessy and Ellis Price on the bench. Luca Giannini actually went off after 8 minutes for a HIA and didn't return. So very disappointing for him. But Will Plessy did play majority of the match then. And, Josh Morse got a try in that game, so that was nice. And on to the more recent under-20s game, 27-15 win against Italy, was quite impressive the way we came back in the second half. We had Josh Morse and Max Page, in the starting 15, and Harry Thomas and Ellis Price on the bench. Harry Thomas came on either at halftime or not long after halftime, and he scored from a rolling ball. And it was from that point something just clicked, and the boys started playing with the ball in possession, and everything just absolutely opened up, and Italy were run off their feet. I think it was 15-0 at halftime to Italy, and 27-0 in the second half. Just shows, when these boys get the ball, they are more than capable. And we're not even playing with the starting number 10, because I believe Harry Wild has been injured for a while now. I think his name is Harry Ford, who was our 10 for these last 2 games, and Ellis Price, who's our boy who came on. He's still under 18s, so younger brother of Jack Price. So physically he's going to be a big boy. So this is the standards of some of these players. Josh Morse has been in. This is his second year, and he's 19. So there are quite a lot of young boys in this under-20 squad, as they seem to be. And for the last week or so, they brought in a lot of boys ready for next year. I know Evan Rees from Cardiff. Yeah, he's a back row. He's just started turning out for the Rags. I know he went into camp and he made a bit of an impression. So there's lots of boys around that under 18s age who are getting exposure.
Is that the point, though, of under 20s, to bring in players at under 18s level and then build them up for 3 years? Is that not defeating the purpose?
It depends on how you view it. If you view it as a purely development tool, or if you view it as an opportunity to win things. I mean, there's got to be a healthy mix of both. So, having a few extra boys who you expect to be in the squad next year come in to make up some numbers for the last week, see the setup, get used to it, see what they're going to have. I see no issue with that. What I don't understand is where are the boys who are 19, 20, who should be, more or less ready for professional rugby? They should be starting in these games. We had, Solo Tuolagi dropped down from the French national squad to the under-20s for the England game. This is the type of players we should be having. Look, I'm not saying they should be ready for national rugby, far from it. But, definitely regional level players you should be at that level by under-20s. You got 80 your first year, 18, 19 in the Premiership, set your ground, and then you should really be pushing on. I want that regional spot. When you hit 20, 21 years old, you should be fighting for that regional spot, not waiting until you're 22, 23, as it currently is, till you get your first sniff at the end of the season.
Are we done with community?
That wasn't community.
I know.
That was above community.
Are we done with your bit?
We're done with my bit. I've got a bit more to talk if you'd like. I can go on. I can go on forever. You know me, man.
Oh, go on, Bennett. Right. Let's have a quick talk through the Italy game. Before we talk through the game, we'll kind of do it in reverse. I'll talk through some of the reactions, in particular on social media, to this game. Because if you're calling yourself a fan, regardless of whether your side has won or lost or whatever, if you're calling yourself a fan and then you're throwing that level of abuse at some of your players, you need to do the world a favour and go watch football, because that's not the way we do things in rugby. Some of the stuff was just disgusting, and you kind of you go into their social media pages. People forget that everything they tweet is on their page, so you can just click it on it and you go down it. And there's these people are not just vile about rugby; they're just vile about everything. So, whatever we say and whatever we do, if we're criticizing a player, we're trying to kind of say, actually, you pass off your right hand could do with some work. Not you're shit at passing, now jump off a cliff. Some people just need to get a grip, because it pissed me. It really pissed. I spent the day drinking on Saturday, I will say that. So, and then I started reading all of this stuff, and it didn't help. It didn't help the whole thing put together. So,
a big problem, we have in Wales and the Welsh public is people criticize, when everything's done wrong, and they always criticize individuals. They don't criticize the team. They hardly ever criticize the manager, if Gatland's in charge, I should say. So, and when you're talking about the Welsh number 10, that seems to get a boost no matter what. Even if we win, it's like, well, we should have won by more. You should have done better. That, and it's not done constructively. It's like, people, what is Costello? He's still 22 years old. He is still a baby in terms of the world. He's probably only really in it. If he was not a rugby player, he would only be first year out of uni. So his first real time away from mum and dad, really. So that's the age of some of these players. And that's what things people need to take into context. And when you're saying, oh, he missed a few kicks, well, yeah, he did miss a few kicks, but that's very uncharacteristic of him. You got to think he's played, the last 3 games, including this one he's played, have been over a 4-week period. And before that, he played, 2.5 games over, 4 months. So
I think he's got like 5 full 80s in 10 months.
It's just stupid, He hasn't had much rugby, so he hasn't had a chance to get form. And people say, go back to your region and get some. Yeah, I agree with that. You do need form if you want to play for your national side. I mean, not that Gatland has ever seen that, but it's just the way it is, And when you look at it as a whole, our pack has been, bang average to terrible. And I know we just talked about, saying we're not saying about individuals. It's been a poor pack in terms of the tournament. So our 9 and 10, our halfbacks have had absolutely poor ball. And then you add into the fact the pressure that Gatland would have put on all of our players, especially our halfbacks, coming into this week. It just begs belief why they didn't make more mistakes. I quite frankly, these players could have totally capitulated, and it's testament to their mental strength that they didn't, because we know the type of coach Gatland is. We've known for well over a decade. He puts this pressure on players. He makes them, really second guess themselves. I mean, how many we've had sort of a turnstile, especially when it comes to 10s. We've had Dan Bigger as one major standout. Obviously, Hansen has been injured, but it's been a rolling door. We haven't had many mainstay 10s outside of that, like in that second or third backup position, because the pressure that Gatland puts on them as a coach is just way too much, and it goes far beyond. And I think that's something that we saw the effects of on Saturday.
So, Hugh, talk to me about the game then, and throw some stats in there when you feel appropriate. What did you make of that Italy game?
Oh, rubbishly.
Excellent, insightful from you.
So it doesn't seem like interesting or like, oh, that hadn't occurred to me. I'm not teaching anyone anything by telling them the pack was pretty hopeless. The carrying of Wales as a team over the whole Six Nations has been the worst in the Six Nations, and that's statistically backed up. We have the worst gain line success of any team. So we carry almost as much as Ireland. So we average 128 carries per game. Ireland average 137. So within 10 carries of Ireland on average per game. Ireland have the best gain line success, and that comes right through the provincial side as well. They love to carry. They just carry all day long. They have the best gain line success. We have the worst. I think I was looking at it earlier, like all of their play, position for position, they all carry better. And if I was to give you like the height and the weight of all of the different players, man for man, Ireland to Wales, it wouldn't show you that Ireland were particularly bigger, because they're not. And I think in the game against Italy, I added it up based on Rugby Pass, which is a fallible source, but based on what Rugby Pass was saying, the forward pack made 69 carries and made 60 meters, so less than a meter per carry on average. It's like
boring.
And that's like going back to what Mark was saying, and that's why Costello was just getting the ball, and just like, because he had a very un-Sam game in that he only carried twice and he passed 30 times. That's not his game. That's not how he plays. He likes to carry. He likes to keep the momentum of the side going by carrying, but he couldn't. And he was getting the ball like, oh, well, this isn't going very well. Sam, could you sort this out for us? And he's just not in that stage of his development where he can do that yet. And he's not that kind of 10. He's a ball in hand running 10. So it's as simple as got no go forward. And funnily enough, when we got the go forward is when Mason Grady came on in that 12 channel. And as far as I could tell, he's never played 12 before in his life.
No, I don't.
But he made a huge difference. And Will Rowlands came on. That's the frustrating thing for me, is that in Grady and Rowlands, what have we been not good at? Getting over the game line. Who's our best game line players in the squad, considering that there are some players who just don't get picked? The best players that we actually do pick are Grady and Rowlands. Okay, well, stick them on the bench and leave them there for 70 minutes. It's like we could have solved these. Gatland could have solved these issues sooner.
Do you think Gatland has lost it? In whatever golden touch he had, whatever he did with that first lot of players, and I would maintain that a lot of that first lot of players that he had were mainly developed by a system that he wasn't involved in, and then he's not involved in the development system now, so we can't criticize or take credit for any of those players. He just takes them at the end and then says, right, okay, I'll do something with them then. So, whatever he was doing before isn't working now, and I can't see where it's starting to work. So has he lost it? That's my question to you, Mart. Has he lost it?
For me, no, he hasn't lost it because he's never had it. The players that he had from 2008 to 2019, that anyone could have gone in and made a good success. I mean, I look at it in terms of we had a really good golden generation of players. We only had 25% of championships in the Six Nations and 2 World Cup semi-finals to show from that. For the standards of players that we actually had, that's a poor return. So as much as Gatland is vowed as, the Messiah, he did this, well, Howley won one of the tournaments for one, and he doesn't do anything. He burns them physically. That's literally all we can find out that he does. And a comment came out somewhere. I've seen it so many times, but it was a comment on, I'm going to break them. But the problem isn't with their fitness. It's with their their mentality. They come into the game as losers. That's why they've never been able to get over the line against New Zealand. That's why it's always a similar sort of thing. So no, Gatland hasn't lost it. He's never had it. Whenever he's not had a primed and ready 23 to go, Ireland, Chiefs, he struggled. He's a good manager. He's not a coach. That's as much as I can say.
Okay. Hugh, same question. Did Gatland ever have it, or if he's had it, has he lost it?
I think he going through and making the clips and the things for the George North videos that we've had this week, you do, in watching like the peak George North, you also see peak Wales, and you think, God, we had a hell of a team. And I remember the stick that team got at the time when it was winning most things. And it makes you look back and like, we give our right arm for some of these players now. He has to acknowledge that his ideas about attack have to change, which is acknowledging that he is wrong and has to change is not something that Gatland has ever done, ever. But certainly in attack, his idea, the whole Warren ball, wear them down, keep the ball, will be fitter than you come the 80. Well, guess what? Now these days teams are doing 6-2 splits and they just bring on, like, Italy did it so well. Italy, like Quesada just schooled Gatland on how to use substitutes in the game on Saturday. It was just like, now I'm going to bring this pod on, now I'm going to bring this pod on, now I'm going to bring this pod on, and just refresh the team as they were wearing down, just kept them fresh, and Italy stayed on top of the whole game. The only time that Wales scored tries was when Italy knew that the game was won and they kind of just took their foot off the gas, and Wales was so far behind and so little time on the clock left that we just went, fuck it, just jouet, and scored a couple of tries that way, exactly the same as it was against Scotland. So the attack absolutely has to change. And we need to introduce detail, we need to introduce deception, we need to introduce using, like I said, footwork and detail and et cetera, to score our tries, because brute force isn't working, and it's not going to work unless we can get some different personnel into the team and use our substitutes better, i.e. adopt a 6-2 split. It's the defense hasn't been shocking, you have to say. Apart from France, we haven't conceded. Like Ireland, we conceded 4 tries, but in the other games, I think we conceded 2 in each of them and 3 against Scotland. So it's not a catastrophic defense. I think the players are fit, and I think they are prepared from a physical point of view. But that's about as much as you can say for the team at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take a page out of Who's book by you and come up with a number, because it's all spoken about that this team is in rebuild mode. So I haven't posted this anywhere because I'm still in the bare bones of making it up. But these new players that you're talking about, we're going through a rebuild. So I've taken every player that's been capped since Gatland came back, so since December 23, and all those players, for every minute that was on that field, they were only on it for 19% of the game. So for over 80%, for 81% of the games, we had boys that had been in the system for several years. So there's no excuse really. And for those boys that have been capped since he's come back, I put the number in my ear. I think it's like 35 positions, through each match day 23, and each one of them caps only equates to about 32 minutes. So all these new boys rebuild that he's trying to play through, they're only averaging 32 minutes to appearance. They're not going to develop at that rate, not quick enough. And as Andrew Coombs has said, we're in a constant rebuild. It should never be this bad. If we compare this to the ending of Pivac's reign, every single result of the 22 Six Nations was better than this one. Every single result in the scoreline. We beat Scotland, and the point marginals were a lot. I can't say a lot less, but they were less in all of the matches. And everyone was saying after that Italy game back then, "Oh, he should be sacked." No one's calling for that. So it's just a matter of who's who.
Well, it's a difficult one because I think he does do some stuff okay, but it doesn't. For me, you go back to what you were saying, Hugh, about when he was winning and we were winning everything, and it was people were slagging him off. Yeah, because we weren't playing the Welsh way, and we're going, oh well, no, we need to develop the Welsh way. We need to win first, and then we'll develop this creative. And we never went on to develop a creative game. We never went on to scoring 3, 4, 5 tries a game. We were winning by a kick, or we were winning by that last minute try and all of that kind of stuff. So we were never putting sides away. We were never destroying sides. We were winning, but it was boring as hell. Yeah, and that's the issue. Is for
I take winning every day of the week.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the way the Welsh public works, mate.
No.
I think for Wales, and I think this is where Gatland shoots himself in the foot, where he tries to take the emotion out of it. He doesn't live here. He's not in the pressure cooker. Yeah, like the way Pivac was. Pivac was here all the time, and he spoke quite a few times about you feel it coming down on you every day. You're shopping in Sainsbury's, and you can feel people looking at you, and people are you're going and buying some chicken, and someone's asking you who's playing scrum half next week. It's there, and Gatland doesn't get that. Gatland doesn't get how important this game is to supporters, to communities, to school kids, to teenagers, to grannies, to people down the pub. It's all encompassing, and by not being a part of that pressure cooker, he's missing that bit. He's trying to take the emotion out of the game. He's trying to take the entertainment value out of the game and going, well, if they score 9 points, we'll score 10. If they score 24 points, we'll score 25. No, we want to play the game a certain way. We want to see a game that's played a certain way. And when he came in, he came in after Hansen and Mike Rudder, who actually they were the boys that changed the way we played that game. They were the boys that developed that. Yeah, Hansen completely changed. But Hansen was here. Hansen was here, and he was working in clubs. He was working in the regions. He was out coaching. Do you know what I mean? He felt the pressure. He understood what it meant. He was the first one that actually said, no, we need to take some of the pressure away from the players. We need to, put the pressure on me, take it away from the players, let the players grow, let the players develop, stop focusing on the win, start focusing on the way we're playing and things like that. So he did more to develop the mentality side of a winning side than Gatland did. Gatland took a pretty good side and made it into a really good side. Can't take that away from him. He made it into a really, really good side. But now he has to go right the way back down to the bottom and work on how that pyramid is built. And Gatland can only build the top 3 or 4 layers of a pyramid. And those first 10 levels that are underneath, he can't build. He expects everybody else to do that, and he'll come in and he'll polish it at the end, and he'll make it great. And now we're in a situation where actually, one of the things that's been talked about on Saturday, who's the leader on the pitch? Well, who's the leader off the pitch? Who's the leader off the pitch? Because at the minute, it doesn't feel like Gatland. It doesn't feel like Gatland's there going, do you know what? Don't shout at the players, shout at me. I'll take the pressure off the players. You want to have a go at someone, come and have a go at me. Throw your shit at me.
I don't agree. I've got to disagree. I think he brings all the attention on himself.
Mm.
With the way he's commented in he's fronted up and gone on scrum 5. He's gone the way he talks about his resignation, which I think was a load of nonsense.
Bullshit.
I think he made
bullshit.
it. I think he made that up. But
Yeah.
he's not gone into any press conferences and thrown any players under the bus, apart from Josh Adams. But Josh Adams, guess what? Kept his place in the team. So I think he knows that a player like Josh Adams can take it because he's world class.
But he threw Josh Adams under the bus. He threw even George North. When George North's going to retire, well, he was really good 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. He threw what's his name? The Cardiff 6 young kid, Alex Mann. No.
Both of them?
No, the young one coming through. Yeah, man. I can't remember his first. Anyway,
Alex.
Is it Alex Mann?
Yeah.
Why am I thinking that's somebody else? Anyway, he threw him under the bus at the start of the tournament. So all that stuff that
I think a lot of what Gatland says in press conferences is massively taken out of context by the media.
Well,
I think his words get twisted a lot.
All these press conferences you can view them. They are online. You can see word for word. And honestly, some of them do get twisted. You can't argue that. But quite frankly, listening to talk is quite difficult. And it makes you think, Jesus, are we really in this place?
And that's what I mean. I don't see him as a leader off the pitch. When Steve Hansen was talking about it, you go right back to, what was his name? Back in the 90s. An English guy came in to coach Wales right when we were down in the doldrums. I met him. I had a couple of coaching sessions with him when I was 16. Alan Davis.
That's long before the 90s.
No, Alan Davis. Yeah. So Alan Davis came out. So he got made national coach. It was the year
91 to 95.
Yeah. So it was the year we beat England 10-9 with that Ian Evans try where he skinned Rory Underwood. Yeah.
I thought you didn't like winning 10-9.
Back then, mate, if we were losing by less,
he's amateur.
If we were losing by less than
winning is
50
everything.
points,
if we'd have won the game 10-9 at the weekend, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
But
I would.
Back then, yeah, if we were losing by less than 50 points, it was a frigging miracle. But what he did was he came out and coached coaches. And he coached coaches on the technicality, he coached them on fitness, and he coached them on how to manage players. And I remember sitting there, I was sitting in Whitland, yeah. So he was using under 15s, under 16s players as his, demonstration and all that kind of stuff. And I went into a tackle bag wrong or something. And he didn't just go, oh, okay, so this kid's got it wrong. He said, right, come here, sir. And he spoke to me and said, right, okay, what about your foot placement? Where's your body placement? Where's your centre of balance? Blah, blah, blah. And then he said, right, okay. So when we're talking to players, this is how we talk to players. And he spoke to coaches about how to coach. No one had done that in Wales before. Yeah. And I think Gatland, if Gatland had to go out and do that now, I don't think he could. I don't think he could go to players, to coaches in Division 2 West or Division 3 West and say, okay, let me help you develop your side. Let me.
Why is that his role? It should be
He's head of Welsh rugby.
No,
because he's head of Welsh rugby. Yeah,
he's a Welsh team coach. He's the Welsh national team coach.
Not how it works here.
Yeah,
that's not how it works in Wales.
The WRU defined his role, and if the WRU defined his role as the national team head coach, that's his remit.
And that's the problem.
He doesn't go beyond it. If you are in this cauldron of Welsh rugby, you understand that every single player, whether they are 6 years old or they're bloody still playing, seconds or veterans or whatever, every single one matters, and every single one is part of the national team. Whether they're playing or supporting or developing towards it, everyone is part of it.
And that's what I think Gatland is missing. It's not that he's not a good coach, because I think he is. He's missing this bit that goes. He doesn't understand how badly managed Welsh rugby has been over the last however long. Because
I think he does, because he points it out in pretty much every press conference he does.
I think I think you need to look at what he says and what he does, because what he says is, that thing about I offered my resignation. That's a load of bollocks. Yeah, he may well have said, "Oh, do you want me to resign?" Yeah, but there's like, "Do you want me to resign?" Or I'm offering you my resignation. If he goes in on Monday morning with a written piece of paper and says, "Listen, Abby, I've had to think about it. I'm giving you my resignation now. If you want to take it, great. If not, fine. I'll carry on. But I'm offering you that opportunity now." Having a conversation in the tunnel as the players have just come off the pitch, where everybody's, emotions are high and all that kind of stuff, saying, "All right, that's it, I've quit." She is going to turn around and say, no, because she's a good boss. Yeah, and that's what a good boss will do. A good boss will go, "Look, okay, don't
think about it.
Yeah, I understand things are a bit raw, but I don't want you to go. Okay, so. I think he's played a game there where he's covered his arse and he's gone, I'll do this now. And I think he's just starting to understand what this means to people in Wales, because he's had it relatively easy. That first session that he had, it was relatively easy. Yeah, things were going right. There was a good bunch of players there. There was a system in place to bring players through, and it was bringing players through. But that got slowly eroded as those players were coming through, and the number of players that were coming through got less and less and less. And now we're in the position where we go, right, okay, all your chickens have come home to roost. What are you going to do about it? And he's, "Oh, well, that's not my job." Well, actually, you're when it comes to leadership, you're the guy that people look at. When all the praise is around, you're the guy we give the praise to.
At the same time, anytime he criticizes the regions, people get on his back for that as well. Even though the region, but even though the regions massively deserve criticism.
But I think some of that comes from, as a leader, he's not leading the regions at the minute.
I think he's told them plenty of times what they need to be doing, and they ignore him.
There's a part in his contract that he's not to negatively say anything about the regions or the WRU, but he's completely ignoring that. Quite frankly, I think given his age, his memory is deteriorating a bit, because the things that he's coming out and saying. No, in all seriousness.
You can't say that, Matt.
I'm gonna say it, because he's an old man. Everyone, look, my memory's going, and I'm only in my early 30s. Just looking at him, he looks a shell of his former self. I think you should be looking at everything around his health, physical, mental, and otherwise, because some of the comments he's coming out with is just This isn't what we had about pre-2019.
Yeah.
They're just so far out there, especially compared to what he was like before. The comment with Alex Mann, like you said, obviously well out of context, criticizing the regions publicly the way that he has, this resignation, bloody crap. I think there might be something more going on there.
Okay, I'm gonna say that I don't think there is. I think I think he's
Never
under a
know.
lot of pressure, but I don't think that he'll be the man in charge for the next World Cup.
I will say that whenever any coach, and I've been consistent on this for multiple nations, I was back on with Eddie Jones and other coaches as well. Whenever a national head team coach says we're building for a World Cup, that's a red flag, because you can't build for a World Cup. There is so much about a World Cup that is out of your control.
It's one-off
You
games.
cannot build for it. Look at the 4 semi-finalists for the last World Cup. Argentina sacked the coach, had a new coach in who'd been in place for about a year. Like, no building there. Argentina can't build. Look at that.
No.
They've got no system at all.
No structure. No.
England sacked their coach 10 months ahead of the World Cup. They had no building there, got to a semi-final. All Blacks didn't sack their head coach, sacked all of their support coaches.
Yeah.
And completely changed their starting 15 and their game plan. Brought Joe Schmidt in, and he brought an entirely new plan in for no building for the World Cup in New Zealand. So that's 3 of the 4 semi-finalists. Then you got the Springboks, who had continuity of players and coach, but they had a Lions tour to host 2 years in. That they couldn't hit the reset button 4 years out because they had to win that Lions tour, because it's been unacceptable to have lost it. So there's no building for a World Cup isn't a thing. And when a coach says, "Oh, we're building for a World Cup," I'm like, that's a red flag, because what is success at a World Cup? Like when we had I've forgotten his name. The guy high up in the Scarlets. I've gone blank.
John Daniels.
John Daniels. Sorry. Yeah, I just had a blank moment there. When he says, "Oh, we get told what players to sign based on the 4-year cycle of the WRU to be successful at the next World Cup." What is success at a World Cup for Wales? A semi-final? Would I trade a semi-final for Wales for a league title for the Scarlets? No. Would I trade a semi-final at a World Cup for Wales for a Grand Slam in a Six Nations? No. Would I trade a World Cup for any of those? Yeah, of course. If we won the World Cup, they can't guarantee that. But there's no amount of planning that you can do 4 years out that guarantee you win a World Cup. Guess what? Look what happened to France. The first choice fly half gets injured. Their best player in their 9 gets smashed in the face. And it all starts going apart. And then 4 years planning, like a referee's decision gives a red card you don't agree with, and there's your 4 years planning up the Swanee. So I'm not okay with coaches sacrificing Six Nations to build for a World Cup in 4 years' time. I will never be okay with that.
We're gonna move on.
About time.
Because and we will come back at the end of the season and redo we'll review all of the seasons and all of that kind of stuff for the season for Wales, the season for the Scarlets, and all that kind of stuff. So the one bit that I was gonna talk about, and I did the social media bit first just to frame our conversation, was the social media for the Scarlets game against Benetton has actually been very good. So I was going to flip that Scarlet, the idea that social media can be really, really bad when it's used in a negative way, but the promotion for the Benetton game has been quite good. So, Hugh, how much of that is down to you?
So I had a bit of a moan last time out about Scarlet socials, and I was mostly upset about the Castor kit, which I'm still upset about. But I did have a bit of a whinge, but I have to say that the content that they've put out in the last couple of weeks has been really good. And they put out a promo today for the Benetton game that was particularly good. They put out a highlight of Joe Roberts' try against Munster that I really liked. So fair play. I think we've heard, Mark, from behind the scenes, haven't we, that they want to bolster that area, and I think it's certainly in the last couple of weeks it's taken a step up. So shout out to the Scarlets socials admin.
Yeah, because it is very easy to just sit back and go, no, this is what we're going to do and all that. But they listened, not necessarily to us, but they listened to somebody and changed some stuff. So let's talk about the preparations for the Benetton game. So I'm almost going to flip that back on his head, because the social media, we haven't seen much other than that video. We've not really seen much in the way of social media about what's been going on the last couple of weeks and how preparations for
Yeah, we know the
Benetton
other
are going.
regions have had training matches against English sides, haven't we?
Yeah.
So do we know if that's been on the cards for us?
Apparently not. We haven't seen anything. We haven't been told anything. If we have been, I would expect it to come out in the press conference, which will be either on Wednesday or Thursday. But if you don't tell us if you don't talk to fans, if you don't tell them what's going on, we're left to twiddle our fingers and make up our own stories. Which, from what I hear, is something that the Scarlets definitely don't want happening. They don't want rumors out there. They want to dispel all of them. But you don't keep us informed. So what are we going to do? We haven't got a choice.
And that is the nature of people, that where there's a void, they'll just fill it with something. Rather than sit there and go, I don't know what's going on. They'll go, well, let me tell you what I know. And they'll just make shit up, which is where conspiracy theories start. So what are we hoping for the Benetton game? Hugh, tell me what you're hoping for in the Benetton game.
I hope we win.
See, that's concise, that's precise, that's to the point, that's on button. Anything else other than a win?
Beggars can't be choosers. I genuinely have got no idea. I've got absolutely no idea. I don't know what the team is going to be, and I don't know what the performance is going to be like. I've got no clue. It's been such a roller coaster, mainly down, of a season, that I've got no preconceptions about the Benetton game at all. Benetton are really good. They're one of the top teams in the league. They kind of slipped down the standings, but the standings are really tight. They win a couple of games and they'll be straight back up again. They'll be targeting this game. It's a must-win for them. So they'll be really thinking they need to get 5 points out of it for their season. But from a Scarlets point of view, I've really got no idea what is in store at the moment.
Okay, so that's Hugh spending 3 minutes saying not a fucking clue. So have you ever thought of a career in politics, Hugh? You could just talk for 10 minutes and not say anything at all. So, Martin, what are you hoping for?
My first hope is that the 300 Italian internationals they've got stay away and arrested, so we might have an actual chance of winning this game. My second is that, they've been talking over the last couple of months, Tane Plumtree, Tom Rogers, and a lot of the injured boys who've had niggles are going to be back. So fingers crossed, outside of obviously Josh McLeod.
Scott Williams inside centre is what I'm hearing.
No, so outside of Josh McLeod and Ken Owens, who we know will not return this season, obviously we still don't know the state of Ryan Elias.
Yeah, that's our two captains, don't you?
Yeah. We still don't know the state of Ryan Elias coming back from Wales, but I'm just hoping that we have a full and fit squad, barring those couple, to actually select from.
Is Joe injured?
No, he wasn't picked because George North had to have a swan song.
No, but he apparently rolled his ankle in the France game.
Well, he did at the beginning, but he played another 58 minutes.
Yeah, but international injured and club injured isn't the same. International, no, you're not injured. Club, oh yeah, you're injured.
Well, this goes to the conversation we had, before we came on. Scarlets socials put out a nice welcome back, and they only had 4 of our 8 internationals on there. So
2 scrum halves. We don't make nearly enough of a noise about the fact that 2 scrum halves and 2 fly halves of Wales are all from the Scarlets.
We don't make enough noise that 4 scrum halves in the Six Nation squads where I was. Stephen Varney and Harry Randall was involved. You know, Scarlets have
Randall
produced.
involved?
Yeah, he was in the training squad.
I can't
Yeah,
count
no,
that. Mark.
yes, that's pushing it somewhat, but
Oh, come
yeah,
on. He's
go
been capped plenty of times. He's a good to Christ boy.
Yeah, okay. So I was about to say, I can't remember what I was going to say. I've gone off about Harry Randall now.
We were on about who's fit back from Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was probably a step back. So for me, the bit that I'm looking for in this Benetton game is defence. You know, they had. Oh, that's what I was going to say. There's almost a call, where you've had a bunch of players in camp working intensively for the last 3 weeks, since the game, working on a new. Well, is it a new defensive system? Is it augmented? Is it the old?
We don't have a great track record of players being in camp for a long time working on things.
No, but you would have thought that they'd have gone, right, okay, we've got a while now. I would
have thought that a few times this year.
Let's have a little look at defence, shall we? Let's spend a little bit of extra time working on the whole defence thing, and then explain what that means.
To be fair, that's a fair point. That with Jared Payne, how long has he had as now being mostly defence coach?
At least the week before Munster, which we know of. So
and
that
there were signs of improvement, weren't there?
6 weeks.
Yeah. There were signs of improvement in the last game, signs of improvement in Munster.
There were signs of improvement in Munster. They kind of disappeared a little bit in Edinburgh.
But I think, if you've had a group of players working on a system, a defensive system for 3 weeks, to then bring international players back into that system and go, okay, this is how we're doing it now. I don't know if that's effective. So I'm almost on that bit of going, if somebody's going to come back into that squad, they've got a week to get their head
okay, all right. Let's do it like this then. So let's pick the 15 with none of our internationals in it. So,
oh fuck, here we go. Hang on, yeah.
So Wyn Jones, Sean Evans.
Sean Evans, I don't know. I think I'd rather Swart for the physicality.
I wouldn't. I'd get Sean Evans. Sam Wainwright.
Yeah.
Alex Craig.
Yeah, he hasn't been involved.
He rocked up to the Scotland camp and they went, "No, you're a bit fucking good. You're making the rest of us look bad," and they rejected him.
Yeah. Lousy, second row. Yeah.
Well, I would put Lousy in the second row. I don't think Peel will. I think they'll put Price in if he's fit, and then Lousy. I'm predicting what it would probably be rather than what I would pick, because that's a whole different conversation. So probably Lousy at 6, Dan Davis at 7, who's also signed a contract extension, which is great. I don't think we covered that on here.
No, I was a while ago, so yeah. Fafita at 8.
Fafita at 8.
But if Plumtree is back, you put Lousy into the second row and Plumtree at 6, don't you?
Yep. And if Plumtree can get sent off and banned for the rest of the season and fulfill my prediction from October.
But he's going to come on and he's going to be an absolute animal for like 60 minutes. And
I think he would have been Wales' 6 if he'd have been fit for the Six Nations.
Yeah.
He would have been 6 for the World Cup.
He's been brought here for a reason, guys. I don't think I'm being a conspiracy theorist here.
He's 6'6", isn't he? Is he 6'6"?
No, 6'5". 6'5", isn't
He's
I thought it by a bit with.
He's big enough to fill in at the second row if needed.
Yeah. And he can run with a ball in hand. He's a big lump of a lad.
He's got like 5 tries in 7 games.
6'5", yeah.
And he's like, I say, old boys, throw me the ball. I'll catch the ball. And I'll run at those little short asses over there. And when I'm done with them, I'll pass the ball to somebody in the same shirt. How's that for a plan? And everyone goes, fuck, hey.
That's the best fucking plan we've heard all year.
He's got a point, But do you know what I mean? He'll take the ball forward. He'll give you yards.
That's a good point. So, yes, Plumtree at 6. Then we would pick Archie. Who knows who will actually get picked? There'll probably be some guy we didn't know existed. Probably Dinky at 10. Centers. Oh God. Oh, is Johnny
Williams
available?
Yeah.
Which jersey will he wear? Because if Eddie's fit, Johnny played in the last game, didn't he?
Johnny played 13, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So it'll be Eddie and Johnny then.
Yeah. particularly if they've been working on a defensive set. If he's got Leatherbarrow working on that defensive set, then I would not be surprised to see him.
Ben Williams, a new contract as well. Congrats to him. We
Big
love
Ben.
Ben Williams.
He cooks. He cooks good.
Yeah.
But then
and then on the wing, spin the magic wheel. Who's on the wing this week?
As long as it's Tommy Lewis on one.
Steph Evans will be on one.
He's going to put Steph Evans in, isn't he?
And who's at fullback?
I wonder if he's been for a haircut yet. Do you reckon Steph Evans has been for a haircut?
You have to do it every week. I mean, Jesus Christ. Why? For 1 week? I mean, even if it's just 10 seconds, that's all you mentioned. Just leak it.
I'll have to have a look on socials. I have to get the little binoculars out and have a little look and see if we can pick out whether Steph Evans had a haircut. Maybe I need to get some CCTV in the hairdressers in Leslie and see if I can pick him up on camera going somewhere. That's what we need.
Johan Nicholas, Catboy, is the one you're looking for.
At 15. Is there any other option? Tommy Lewis can play 15.
But then we'd have
Tom. If Tom's fit.
Yeah, he's one wing.
No, Tom would be fullback.
Be fullback if he's fit.
He's got to be fullback now. No, Johnny's gone. He's got to be fullback.
Can we have a full Tom back three? No, we can't. We've only got two Toms.
It's Tommy as well.
No, Tom, Tommy, and Steph.
The thing, but then you've got Ryan Combier sitting there, who was a bit of a freight train last year.
When I was doing Johnny McNichol clips, Ryan Combier finished at half the chances that McNichol created, and I'm there thinking, Ryan Combier's a good player. Whatever happened to him?
Yeah, it's
Anthony someone don't like him. That's what it looks like.
Anyway, so one quick thing then before we finish, because we're going to go on. So let's do predictions for the Benetton game, and then I want you to pick one game between now and the end of the season that is going to be your key game. Yeah, don't you do this to me, Martin. I gave you plenty of warning on this. It has to be a Scarlets game in between now and the end of the year. I can see it in your eyes already. You'll be stroking your little beard like this and going, yeah, like that. Right, I'm going to ask a sensible person first. Hugh, pick a game between now and the end of the season that you think is important for the Scarlets and why.
I've got a game, just to let the viewers and listeners know. I picked a game in the WhatsApp group, but Lee said I couldn't have that one because that was his. So I've got to pick another one.
I put that in there first. That's why.
So I'm going Zebra away. Reason being, Zebra away, because Zebra will be targeting that, and it's a bit like a kind of if we lose it, it's one of those moments, isn't it? It's the Zebra are ahead of us now, isn't it? So it's a bit of a statement one, we are still here, as they say.
Okay.
If we go out there and get trounced in Zebra, it's like
it's gonna be a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And your prediction for the Benetton game?
I hope that Benetton will be on an emotional downer after having had such an exciting Six Nations. Would Benetton have beaten Wales if they'd just put Benetton out? Because most of that team was Benetton.
I thought they did, didn't they? They all had green socks.
The only players that weren't Benetton players were Zebra players.
There's only like two in there in the whole 23.
And Benetton are better. Anyway, so I don't know. 31-28 to the Scarlets.
Yay!
Okay. Mart, you'll go.
Well, my game it's a bit convoluted. So for my game to actually matter, there needs to be another game that's even more important. So I'm going to pick our game against the Dragons at the end of the season down the Cardiff stupid City Stadium. Because there's an important game a couple of weeks before that between the Dragons and Ospreys. So if the Dragons win that, it means that the Welsh Shield is still open on the last day of the season. So the fact that we might be able to compete for something, I know it's next to nothing.
So what we need is all of the former Scarlets players who play for the Dragons to perform really well against all of the former Scarlets players who play for the Ospreys.
Yes. So if we got something to play for in the last game of the season, I think that'd be brilliant. Even even though it's been such a terrible season, if we can somehow magic, it's so unlikely. Even
It'd be
if we
so
still
funny.
get out. If we could still pick up that little silver plate, so all the boys can have their dinner after, it'd be nice.
I want to see a
And,
picture of Verfa featuring eating his dinner off it.
and I'll go for 26-18 Scarlets.
So even when I said it has to be a Scarlets game,
It was.
and you just said the Dragons and the Ospreys game is more important.
It's a precursor. It's a reason to make it important.
This is why I just give up sometimes and just go, oh, fuck it. We'll make it up when we get there. We'll just start the pod and then we'll just see where we... That's what we should do next week. We won't have a plan. We'll just start and see how it goes. And then we'll get to the end and then we'll go see how that went.
So our next podcast is going to be coached by Dwayne Peel.
Oh, he's done it.
Oh, the Ospreys fans will be loving you.
I know that's our main demographic for our listeners.
No, it's our main listenership. For people who think that we make up the whole Ospreys fans are obsessed with this thing, we posted on Twitter about Stephen Jones' coaching of Moana Pacifica, in New Zealand, and Ospreys fans were in the replies having an opinion.
There's about 20 of them in there.
They've got Ospreys in their Twitter handle and in their pictures of Ospreys in their profile. They are the Ospreys Twitter accounts. It's the whole point of their accounts, and they're just flooding our replies and everything that we post.
But I like it when they put "we" in there, like they're pretending to be Scarlets, but the picture is the Ospreys logo, and you're like, how we need to get rid of Peel. And it's an Ospreys logo, and who do you think you're kidding? Who I give up. Anyway, where were we?
You just give up, so we're ending for the week. Nice to see you guys.
My key game was going to be Sharks. No, I called the Sharks earlier because I did.
Put it in the group.
I put it on because then Hugh said we could wear his hat.
Yeah, I've got a special Shark hat.
I've got a Sharks coat somewhere. The boy bought it.
No, not a Sharks hat. A Shark hat.
I've got Orca. I've got an Orca. He lives in my car. His name is Benny.
What the fuck are you on about?
An Orca, not a killer whale.
Yeah.
No, it's not a killer whale. I don't know what that is. It's a whale killer.
If you call Benny a killer whale, he gets all upset. You have to call him an Orca.
Right. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, Sharks basement battle, but it's at home, and by that point, we should know where we're going to finish at the end of the season, or we should be, what we're going to do. I just think that's a game that the Sharks will target as well, and if we're going to be in any sort of shape for next year, we need to start to perform against the Sharks. So, and my prediction for Benetton, I think I said Scarlets by 1 on the Wrap podcast, but I'm going to say I think we can, if defense is working, then I think we'll be about a try ahead. I think that's what we'll do. So
give us an actual scoreline then. Come on.
Okay, I'm going to go 21-14 is what I think we'll be on that. Right, very, very last thing. Martin, you'll go. Go on. We've got to get all the way through it.
Stop!
Right, you can have that.
I did it! You went too fast!
Where do bees go if they want to use public transport? Go on.
Where do bees go if they want to use public transport?
They go to the bus stop.
Oh, that's so weird. I was trying to think of something hive related.
Right, okay, we go there.
See, who knows to do it before you start?
Yeah. What's a vampire's favourite fruit? Nectarines.
Oh. That's actually funny.
Look how many of these we've got to get through.
Are you taking them out each week or are you leaving them in?
I am. I had a nightmare. I started shuffling them just now and then I realised, no, I'd taken them out and I put them over to the side. So, yeah. Right.
The nectarine one's actually funny. I'm going to tell people that.
You suck. It has been a good laugh and good fun as always. Thank you very much for your time and company this evening. We shall catch up. We shall do it all again next week when we're back to playing normal rugby. We are back
Real
to
rugby.
URC. So one final shout for my survey before we go. Please do it, because it'll really help me, and then I can just stop doing Open University stuff. It'll be great. Gents, pleasure as always. Enjoy your rugby. Have a good one. Ta-ra.
Thanks for having us, Robert.
Thank you for listening to the Scarlets Fever podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, rate and review wherever you listen to us, as it really helps us spread the word. You can find us on all the usual social media channels or email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. And remember, whatever the question, rugby is always the answer.
Sports Social Podcast Network.